Hello, what up? What's good? Welcome in to the OnlyBets Sports Podcast, Tuesday edition with Stern Best Trudeluki. I'm the Prince of Picks. Got a great show lined up for you guys today. So we're going to be covering the Major League Baseball full slate in action today. We've also got a lot of Conference League qualifying, Champions League qualifying over in Europe, over in soccer. So we've got a lot of sports here to cover throughout the day. We'll recap our plays from yesterday, but we'll see what other plays that we can come up with towards the end of the show here as we wrap it up. So let me bring in Stern. Good morning, Stern. Happy Tuesday. Glad to see that this wildfire smoke has finally gone up here. I don't know about Philly, but here in Chicago, it's finally cleared out. Got some breathable air for once. How are you doing out there, bro?
Yeah, air quality is getting better. Happy to see it. Hope everybody's safe out there. Looking forward to another nice little win today. We're on a very nice streak. Tigers Nationals. I had each team to score at least 4 runs. 7 of those 8 runs were scored in the first inning of each game. So very happy. I know the Yankees definitely destroyed expectations happily. So I know that we went at least 3 wins with Dylan Cease also cashing. How did your other play go? Dallas Wings, team total over 86.5.
Yep. So we went for 2-0 sweep yesterday for the show picks. In baseball, we hit the Yankees over 2.5, Nationals over 3.5. That parlay cash, and then the Wings team total over 86.5. That did cash as well. So 2-0 for the show picks, and we'll see if we can continue that today.
Yeah, make that 4-0 across the across all the cappers. So very happy to see that. All right, let's get into it today. Got another team total parlay, but Prince, what do you got first in the MLB slate?
So just one play for me today, guys, in the major leagues. I'm going to go back to the Nationals-Rockies game. I think we see a ton of runs in this one. The total is set at 12.5, which is a huge number, but I think we're going to see over that. I'm going to play the over 12.5 at -115. Looking at the pitching staffs here for both of these teams, don't really trust either bullpen. Don't trust either starting pitcher. Of course, Miles Mikolas is on the mound for the Nationals. We all know how we feel about him. And then on the other side, the Rockies starting pitcher, most you'll have to forgive me. You'll have to double check who that is. But I know he's having a tough start to the season as well, as I was looking at his metrics and his record. Michael Lorenzen, just 3.9 on the season, 6.22 ERA. So I think you got 2 teams here in line for a lot of runs against 2 very favorable pitching staffs in a very hitting-friendly environment here at Coors Field. So I'll give you the over 12.5 between the Nationals and Rockies at -115.
I am very much on board. This brings me into my play, so I can talk about it a little bit. I have the Braves and Rockies team total over 3.5 parlayed at -131. Rockies facing off against Miles Mikolas, as you mentioned. The Nationals. Well, I certainly would also take the Nationals here for a team total parlay here. I really do like the Rockies to bounce back. They do rank middle of the pack offensively this year, and that goes up a little bit or a lot of bit at home. Nationals bullpen falling off a little bit. 2-3 months ago, they were actually ranked in the top 5 in underlying metrics among relievers. Now they are falling fast, ranking 16th over the last month. I expect the regression to the mean where they are really just not a great bullpen overall. They just struggle. They don't have enough arms. They get tired quickly, and their starting pitching staff is not good enough to keep the bullpen limited as they would need for them to be successful. We have Coors Field, 90-degree weather, 13 miles per hour blowing out to left. I very much like both of these teams to score. I'm going to pick on the underdog just a little bit on the Rockies, specifically trying to fade Miles Mikolas. The other side of this parlay are the Braves going at it at home. Game 2 of the series against the Padres, facing off against Walker Buehler. Metrics, nothing. Nothing is average. Everything is below average on his underlying metrics. He is carrying a 6.50 road ERA, and he has given up 20 runs in just the last 3 games alone. Sure, he has had stretches of pitching well this season, and he is coming off a well-needed rest from the All-Star break, but I am willing to see if he has it or not. Just in case he does have it, this Braves team is coming in as of late, ranking 4th in weighted run creation over the last month. And even if he does well, like I said, the Padres bullpen has not been great, ranking 25th in Sierra over the last month as well. Absolutely love the hot weather. likely pushing the totals of each of these games over. I like the Braves Rockies team total over 3.5 at -134, -131. Prince, any thoughts on there? And I'll give you two leans of two different games that I was considering for a team total as well.
Yeah, funny enough that you mentioned that. I'm right on board with you. I was actually looking at both of those games as part of a two-team parlay with the Braves, and then I was looking at the Rockies and Nationals, going with one of those teams as the other piece of the parlay. But then I saw that you gave that out last night on our group chat, so I pivoted and I went with a single bet, also to switch it up a little bit, kind of stay get away from parlay, just try to go with a single bet as well for today. But I love it. That was definitely going to be one of my plays that I was looking at too. So I'm right there with you for every reason that you just said.
Yeah, another team that I really like today, almost took them straight up, just the team total over 4.5. I really like the Giants today facing off against the Royals. Royals bullpen is also atrocious, and they're pitching someone who I don't really trust on the mound. Just I don't see it. And then the other team that I kind of was looking at here, besides the San Francisco, was again Detroit. They're going against Peterson. I don't really have a lot of love for him. I think that this is again really, really nice hitting conditions, but that would have literally just been the repeat of yesterday's bet, essentially. So I wanted to again switch it up. If you're looking for an underdog, kind of like the White Sox, if you want to ladder their run line +1.5, money line, and -1.5, I don't mind putting a quarter unit on each of those as well. In lieu of Drew, I did see that he joined earlier. I don't know necessarily what happened. Anything else we want to get to on the baseball slate? I'm sure that we will return soon.
Yeah, we'll probably get back to it if Drew's able to join us. But I do have one question for you, actually. I know before we were giving out home run sprinkles. We don't really do that anymore because obviously it's just kind of a crapshoot. We want to give more realistic plays. But I know we have had some fans with that. I've had some DMs recently about, hey, do you guys have any home run sprinkles, whatever. The only reason I'm asking is because of this Rockies Nationals game, because of how many runs were expected. Do you have any thoughts at all on a potential home run sprinkle that maybe some of our listeners can play on that game, since it's such a high total? I thought maybe it might be worth a sprinkle for any home run plays.
Funny enough, I don't really. I usually take about 5 to 10 minutes on minimum to research every individual home run bet. I would like to go through the starting pitchers. I'd like to go through what their metrics are kind of. I'd like to compare them against the batters in that lineup, and then also see the splits left to right, home away. And I want to see progression over the last couple weeks to where I believe that a hitter will continue hitting well. On top of that, even when I find a good hitter, I then have to compare the price point of where I would like to bet them versus what the market is actually giving. Off the top of my head, James Wood, but I'm not going to go ahead and bet a +230 number on him. I probably put that number closer to +350. Sure, yes, we have amazing weather. It doesn't really do it for me. If you wanted to put a sprinkle just off the top of my head, maybe TJ Rumfield at +520, but I haven't looked into how he has been doing lately, and I don't, I don't really feel comfortable without a little bit more research. But if you're looking for a high flyer, somebody who can definitely hit plus money on a good hitting environment, it might be a good look.
Yeah, just a high flyer lead, nothing official here. Obviously, without research and the proper research here. Just something for the listeners here to sprinkle just for fun, to see what happens. Just because the total's so high, that's the only reason that I put you on the spot there. So sorry about that.
No, no, no. So just for you guys listening, this is how I would approach it. Go on to ESPN, go onto the app, go look at the starting pitchers, go look at their splits and see. You have to kind of take into account how many at bats versus lefties versus righties, but you can generally see if a pitcher has a tendency to give up home runs versus the left or the right and home and away. Once you identify that, I would go onto the batter's profile, go look at their splits on ESPN, see if they match up nicely, if they hit against left-handed pitchers or right-handed pitchers better, home or away, and then look at the weather to see if that matches up and aligns. The last thing I do is I look at the last 2 weeks, last month, and last 3 months to see if a batter is coming or going in terms of how well they're or how hot they are at the bat. If all those things align, I'm generally looking for a +350 or +400 number or better. And if I see all those things align, I'll definitely take a stab. But it's a lot of work for not a lot of payoff. You
Yeah.
basically are hitting one in every. I was hitting one in every 4, one in every 5 home run picks, which is great. It was plus money, but it was so much time and effort. And if
Yeah.
you research the first 5 batters and it doesn't work out for you, just wasted 25 minutes. So
100%, 100%. Yeah, I'm right with that. Yeah, I'm right there with you on that. Yeah, it's just not worth the time, honestly. But yeah, okay. So maybe just this might be a game where plus 500, plus 600. You might find some value there just because of the environment and how many runs are expected here. So maybe something like that, guys. If you guys are just looking for something fun to bet on with no research, just to throw a little dart out there on a game that has a very high total and probably the best hitting environment in the majors. All right. Where do you want to go next? Most, you want to go to soccer?
Soccer.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
We got UCL qualifiers, which is always fun.
Yes, sir. Yep. So let's go ahead and get over to that. Actually, so the UCL qualifier that I'm looking at actually be for tomorrow. But before I do that, we do have a game tonight, a late game here in Liga MX. It's going to be between Toluca and Pumas. It's going to be a late start, 11 p.m. Eastern kickoff. I like both teams to score in this one. You can get that around minus 150. Again, that is about the limit for the odds that I'll give out for a show play here. Minus 150 is my ceiling. And this falls in that line here. So looking at the head-to-head, I believe it's 16 of the last 27 head-to-head have seen both teams to score. So you're looking at about a 68, 69% hit rate for this both teams to score between these two sides. And I think we're in line to see that again tonight between two teams that are a little bit suspect defensively. And I think they can definitely both get on the board. So give me Toluca Pumas. Both teams score minus 150. And then the conference league qualifiers. I'm sorry, is it the conference league? Yeah, conference league qualifiers for tomorrow. This one's going to be for Wednesday, you guys. We're looking at a. Let me get the time here so we know just exactly what we're looking at. It is going to be for conference league qualifying. 2 p.m. Eastern kickoff. We have Besek Şehir from the Turkish league taking on Inter Turku. Inter Turku, of course, from the Finland. Sorry for Finland. So Besek Şehir taking on Turku. I like goals in this one. Over 3 at minus 115. Both of these sides, I think, are going to be in line to put up some goals. So specifically, Besek Şehir at home. Turkish league, known for goals. Besek Şehir, one of those teams as well. Both teams to score is also pretty friendly for both of these sides. But I'm just going to take goals in this one. I think you have the, aside from Finland, Finnish teams on the road are typically not very good. They tend to concede away from home. And I think Besek Şehir is in line for some goals in this one. Could see both teams to score hit as well. But give me the over 3. I think there's value there between these two sides at minus 115. So again, Besek Şehir, Inter Turku, over 3 goals at minus 115, and then Toluca Pumas, both teams to score at minus 150.
Question on the Liga MX play. Would you also consider playing the both teams to score over 2.5 for minus 105, or are you just much more comfortable with the both teams to score at minus 150?
For me personally, I'm more comfortable. I think the data is a little bit stronger for the both teams to score. I mean, I wouldn't hate the both teams to score over 2.5. That's obviously getting pretty solid value at that. The data is not as solid for the over 2.5. However, and Brad has mentioned this before, typically when both teams score, you do tend to see that third goal. It's rare that games ended 1-1. So with that in mind, of course, playing the both teams scored over 2.5, there's definitely value on that. For me personally, I just wanted to play it safe and just go with the both teams to score. But if you want to play the over 2.5, definitely it's a real possibility.
Okay, cool. Yeah, thanks for the information. Liga MX, if you guys aren't familiar, is Prince and I's one of our favorite leagues to bet live. Generally, you will find a goal in the first half, especially with teams like this that are playing. I think this is excellent value and definitely going to be holding at least another half a unit to bet live in this one. There is just so many great opportunities,
Yeah, 100%. Yep. We love the League MX. We love MLS. So both of the leagues are coming back in action, and can't wait to start betting on those again.
Yeah, 100%. All right, what about NBA futures? Go before we get to that, special guest. I don't know if it's special anymore. If it's semi-regular. Our special
Yeah, he's not special
semi-regular
anymore.
guest.
He's regular now. He lost the special tag.
Gosh, that came out wrong out of my mouth. But you know what I
That was
mean.
funny.
Brad Betts,
Well,
welcome in, buddy. How you doing? Any thoughts on the soccer landscape today or this week?
What's up, everyone? Thanks for having me. I needed to piggyback off that Liga MX talk because, specifically with Liga MX, things have changed this season. They've gotten rid of relegation. And when you get rid of relegation, what that's going to do is you're not going to be as focused on conceding. You're going to look to score more than your average league, just simply because there are less repercussions in the match. You might go for it a little more. And so far this season in Liga MX, we've seen more goals historically. And so that's going to be something that not only I'm going to be looking at, but something that everybody who is an avid bettor, especially because these evening time frames have really difficult matches as far as scoring is concerned. So take a look at Liga MX going forward. There might be an advantage to the books, at least for a few months.
Whoa, that is unbelievable. Something I didn't realize in an already top scoring league. I'm excited, man. That's awesome news. Prince, any reactions to that?
No, but he's spot on. Obviously, without relegation, teams don't have as much to lose, right? Because you're not going to get relegated, so you're more likely to go for it, which tends to lead to more goals. So I think he's spot on. I think we've already kind of seen that with the start of the Liga MX already, as it restarted over the last several days. So yeah, I think we're definitely in line for more goals. I agree 100%.
Is that a disservice to Liga MX teams competing worldwide to teams that do get relegated?
1000%.
Why they do it? Just money and influence?
There could be another, or honestly, there could be a number of factors involved in this decision. Everything really stems from that COVID timeframe. Once we had COVID, they started changing a few of the rules, and you've seen little by little one rule change here, one rule change here, and now I'm guessing the owners got together and wanted to make a more American style football league esque because it protects the ownership. And if you're an owner, you can not be relegated. You know that your investment is safe. And you've actually seen a lot of American owners go over into Europe and start to tinker a little bit with these rules, which is really frustrating as from a historical standpoint of how relegation keeps things fresh in the world of football. So that freshness is very, very important. It's something we need to monitor. We're hoping Liga MX will go back to it as far as relegation in the future, but we need to know that this season relegation's called off. Just like the MLS, you see tons of goals, tons of conceding, teams really pushing at the end because like it doesn't really matter as much if a team doesn't make the playoffs or wins this season, doesn't win, finishes last, bottom three. You'll see some total give ups. And I'm actually really excited in a goal betting standpoint, obviously, but from just a world football love of the game, it's just not trending in the right direction.
Very interesting. Any plays? You have a lean on the over 2.5 here?
I sent out this morning to my dub club the Swedish Super Etan, which is playing at 12 noon today. The 2.75 at minus 134. I expect goals between Falkensberg and Helsingborgs. Not only does it happen in their matchup history, happens in the league. It's trending in that direction for both teams, upwards of 14 of 18 and I think it's 11 of 14. I can't remember the exact figures. I, of course, got to get into my phone. But Helsingborg concedes a ton of goals away from home, 3 plus in six of the last 8 in the league. And then you have Falkenbergs, who has been playing really well. There should be a number of goals. It's also hitting 3 straight with Falkenberg at home. So I expect goals there. I'm monitoring the Champions League qualifiers, but especially in these leg one fixtures, you'll often have a very mixed variety of results. You can have a total give up late in the match from some team, or if a team gets a goal, then they totally sit back. So these results are very goal dependent. One team maybe will push a little bit more, but knowing that you have another leg, teams are very just really, really relaxed in their approach. Just kind of be careful. I am kind of eyeing a match on Thursday. Stjarnan out of Iceland is playing at home versus Ilves, the Elves in Finland, one of my favorite goal producing teams. Both teams are over pounders. Both teams to score. They play very open football. I expect goals, and Bet365 has limited this match quite drastically to any pre-match better. So I'll be looking at that over 3.
Phenomenal. Thank you so much, Brad. That is it's really awesome when you come in and just start spouting off knowledge that really helps all of us understand, learn, and make money. So thank you, man.
Yeah,
Prince, any
sorry about
thoughts?
that.
Oh, how dare you give us live looks, man. Prince, what do you got?
No, again, I was looking at the game as well. That's just 2 goal scoring and goal conceding machines in Stjarnan and Ilv. So definitely looking forward to that one. He's right. You can't play anything pre-match. It's just nuked. All the totals are nuked. So definitely a live bet, and I'll be sure to cover that
How do
either
you spell
tomorrow or Thursday.
How do
Yeah,
you spell that second one? Because I can't find it right now. I'm desperately trying to put it in.
Ilves. Ilves.
You got it. And
Yeah.
Stjarnan is Stjarnan. It's a Thursday match.
Appreciate it. Getting that bet in right now.
Yeah, and make sure you go look at the logo for Elvesh. It's one of the best out there.
It really is. It's a cool logo. Nice little. Was it like a yellow wolf or cat or some animal, isn't it?
Yeah, like literally, it makes it. I'm not even sure what exactly it is. I actually need to go
Yeah,
and look, but it is
it's
the
cool though.
coolest, one of the coolest ones to where when you're scrolling, it just catches your eye above all of the other ones do. So we gotta look for our wins because it helps you remember these teams in these leagues and put the names. So Ilvesh is a great one.
Yeah, I tried to spell it with an I. I tried to spell it with an E. I put a elf, like literally like how you would spell elves from Lord of the Rings. These
Yeah,
team
it's ill.
spellings
It's
are
like
complicated.
yeah, it's ills, but I don't know. I think some people pronounce it elves, but yeah, so the ILVES instead of ELVES. So the same way you pronounce elves, except it's just an I instead of an E.
Any thoughts while I have Prince and Brad, our 2 soccer experts here? Any thoughts on the MLS this week? I don't think we have any games today, but tomorrow we have a full slate, right?
Wednesday.
Yep.
Oh my God. Wednesday MLS, a full slate. Is there anything that's possibly better than that?
Day
There are a
baseball.
couple
Sorry,
matches.
day baseball. Go on. I couldn't help myself.
Day baseball? No
That's so
way.
true.
No
I'm
way.
sorry, I have to agree with him.
Hey, Drew. We'll get back to baseball in a minute.
There's
Sorry
a
for
sick
interrupting
amount
your
of
flow. Go on.
matchups. Inter Miami's playing at home against Chicago. If Messi's playing, which is a big if given where he just was, that should be just totally prime for goals. Vancouver away from home is always prime for goals. Austin at home, but they're playing Seattle, so it's a mixed bag of results. I mean, you have a pretty decent amount of games. That San Jose Orlando match could be very fun, but also what we saw from last week was the legs were like gone. Like nobody looked very solid through and through. Luckily, St. Louis gave us a nice goal fest. The Galaxy were totally lost against LAFC, and I say all that, and the differentiation between those teams is you're going to get a mixed bag of results when teams are just coming back. There's new players that are being added into the mix. There's players that were purchased on these big teams that are now out of the mix. So just be careful, watch those lineups, and over the next week, the MLS will start to really even itself out.
All right, looking forward to that. I definitely have been enjoying the evening games, even if I don't get to watch all of them, mostly because baseball's on, but also because you have to purchase an Apple TV subscription. Yeah, Prince, what do you got?
Yeah, since we're talking about MLS, I'll go ahead and give some early looks here as well where I think we're going to see goals. So yeah, getting to the Inter Miami Chicago game, there's reports out that Messi is going to miss the first 2 games. He's going to take a break and he's going to miss this one and he's also going to miss the next one. So he's likely to not be playing tomorrow night against Chicago. Also, Chicago made a big transfer move. I think we all expected it. Hugo Kuipers, the leading goal scorer the leading goal scorer in the MLS, has been sold to Monterrey. So he is off the books for the Fire, of course. That was a necessary move when you bring in Lewandowski. Berhalter doesn't play with two strikers, so you knew Kuipers was on his way out. So not really a surprise there, but obviously that frees up the position for Lewandowski to get the bulk of the minutes. So I expect him. I don't know if he's going to start in this one. They did have their last game canceled. They were supposed to play last Wednesday, but because of the wildfire smokes, that game got postponed. So this is actually going to be his first official game. But now with another week under his belt with training, I'm not sure. He may end up starting, he may not. But in any case, I think he's going to get some significant minutes. And really, against Inter Miami, you don't need a whole lot of minutes to score against them. So I would look at Lewandowski to score anytime goal scorer in this one. I gave this out a week ago. Chicago on the money line, I think, is an absolutely solid look. We'll get more into that tomorrow, but I love the Fire here, straight up on the money line against Inter Miami without Messi. Again, one of the weaker defensive teams. Chicago has been on a roll offensively. Other games I like here for goals: Cincinnati, Vancouver. Cincinnati has been an absolute matador defense in the MLS, so love Vancouver here to put up some goals against Cincinnati. We're looking at Sporting Kansas City. Unfortunately, they're still conceding goals. It doesn't seem their defense hasn't seemed to shore up yet. So even against Minnesota, I think we could see some goals there. I really like Colorado, San Diego. Could see some goals in that one. Galaxy, St. Louis. Galaxy at home seems to be more of a goal scoring machine. St. Louis on the road concede a lot of goals. I think we're in for goals in that one. And then the one that Brad mentioned, San Jose, Orlando. Love goals in that one as well. So we'll get into it more tomorrow as I do a little bit more research, but just some early looks and thoughts here for games that we're looking at for goals. And a lot of entertaining games tomorrow in the MLS. There always is. That's why we love the league.
Yeah, gotta love the value on a lot of these underdogs. I know I've been cashing on them. Maybe I'll start to share some of those with the show. Just not as comfortable when I have titans such as Prince and Brad on the show. It's feels hard to kind of compete with that knowledge.
Thank you.
Well, I was really just talking about Brad, Prince.
Thank you, Brad. Sorry, you didn't let me finish. I was trying to say thank you, Brad.
I very much respect your opinions, Prince, and I definitely love getting into all sorts of leagues, especially on your VIP channel, in which it takes me about a half an hour every night to input all those plays.
Sorry.
Can we go back to baseball real quick while Drew is ready to go, and then we'll
For
finish
sure.
up with some NBA?
Yep, absolutely.
All right, phenomenal. All right, Drew, we both gave out our plays. We both like team total parlays. Shocker. Where are you going today? And well done. We had a 4-0 day on the brand yesterday. So what do you got?
Yeah, Dylan Cease, absolute workhorse. He's given up 5 runs, but I think only 3 of them were earned. But like I said before, one of the things I love is he's allowed to pitch 100 plus pitches. I think he pitched 101 pitches. But the one I like today is Framber Valdez. He's coming back from bereavement leave from his passing of his grandma, and I think one of the reason why the line is like it is at only over 70 and a half at minus 112, because usually his over 10 half is juice, is because they don't. He's had like I think like 12, oh, no, 11 full days of rest. I know parts of the All Star break, but he also missed his last start. And they don't know, how he'll be, bounce back because it's Vegas. But I'm going to take this great value, especially since he's faced his kind of Cubs lineup really only like once, which was last year. They were. I think they were 4 for 32 against them with 1 extra base hit. And then if you look at the weather for the Cubs game, there's 20-mile-per-hour winds blowing into like right field, like blowing in terms of like pitcher friendly wise. And it's going to be 68% humidity, 76 degrees. It's definitely a Cubs. It's the Wrigley Field factor for sure. And I think this is going to be a favorable pitching game. And if you look at Framber, he's covered this, I believe, 4 out of his last 5 games. It's like I think he's had 7 innings, 5 innings, six, and then another one of those innings where it was, as you know, I don't want to say the 6 3 times, but anyways, but yeah, overall, I like Framber over 75 outs, minus 112, amazing value.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I do see Detroit possibly being a little bit on the value side if you wanted to go there. I like their team total. I like them to win. I don't really trust this Cubs team. And yeah, I think that's a really good look on over on outs, which you have been killing, by the way. I think this month has been your best month by far. I think you're up about 4 or 5 units overall so far. Oh, sorry. I think that's just in the last week.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh yeah, I know. I do my best to make sure because like I know I've been picking like unders and stuff, and I get asked by my friends that I go talk Discords like, do you just like target unders, or I just talk the best value. Sometimes there's weeks where it's just you want to target unders. Sometimes a week there's overs, and overs are really good to target after the All Star break because pitchers have rest, and most pitchers respond well to rest. There's like select few that can get a little rusty, but we've seen a lot of pitchers go deeper after the All Star break. But you also want to stay away from pitchers that are young guns like Mizorowski and stuff, where they're going to try to limit his innings, and other ones. You always want to make sure you research, like, oh, why is this line this? Oh, looks like this guy was hurt. For the more veterans, they're more likely to go over after the All Star break because they're not going to reach most likely their career in innings for a season coming up, and that's I think a key to look at. Like for example, like a Framber, he's a vet. He's accustomed to going like 200 innings a year, But if you see other pitchers like Chase Burns, Mizorowski, and like Hunter Green and all of them, you need to look out. So big. Sometimes they like to save those young guns for the end of the season. So yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Also, something to keep in mind, veterans have had the experience of going pitching regularly, having some time off, and then coming back into it, while the young guns may struggle to come back as they're not used to that pace where they're taking days off and then coming back. So I definitely like that look as well. All right, Prince, let's get into NBA futures. I saw this pick yesterday. Absolutely loved it. I have them as the top team in the league by far, especially with their combined offensive and defensive rating. Where are we going today for our future?
Yeah, so I've been dabbling with some NBA futures markets as we're still several months out from the beginning of the season. A lot of times you can get better value on these future markets, so as it's less bet, right, less action on it. Nobody's really thinking about the NBA right now, other than the few rumors about LeBron and other superstars. But for the most part, the NBA is on the back page right now. So good time to bet on some futures markets. And one market that I was looking at is going to be a futures market for the number one seed in the Western Conference. Now, I found this on DraftKings. I'm sure you can probably find it on other sports books as well. Right now, the Thunder are the favorite, minus 110. You can get the Spurs at plus 150. And then, to my surprise, the Wolves were the third favorite at plus 2,200. So quite a huge gap between the top two and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Uh, I love the Timberwolves here at plus 2,200. I think that is a steal of a price here. When you're looking at the Wolves, of course, they did lose a little bit of height and size with Julius Randle and Nas Reed going out. But I think LaMelo Ball being there is going to really unlock Anthony Edwards to be an even better all-around player, because LaMelo is going to take a lot of that offensive responsibility off of Anthony Edwards, and that's going to make him, in turn, be more capable to be a more universal player defensively. He's not going to fatigue as quickly. He might even not be as injury prone because not as much is going to be asked of him as has been throughout his entire career. He's had to be the leading scorer and the leading defender every year of his career. And now I think LaMelo Ball is going to take an immense amount of pressure off of him with that. I'm interested to see how that combination works, but I think it's going to work. And then if we still got Ayo Dosunmu, who's been an elite scorer. You got DiVincenzo, of course, who also is one of the top scorers in the league as well. So I think offensively they're going to be a very good team. I think you're going to see them maybe be one of the more fun teams to watch. I think their pace of play is going to be through the roof. I expect them to really run up and down the court based on the team that they have. I think that's really going to be their keys to success. So when you're looking at the Timberwolves as the number one seed in the Western Conference, look, the Thunder, they're not going to probably go for it as hardcore, right? They've shown that they can win games on the road in the playoffs. Same with the Spurs. They've shown that they too can win games on the road in the playoffs. So I think you're more likely to see some of the stars for the Thunder and the Spurs rest a little bit more during the season, right? Specifically Wembanyama for the Spurs. You already know that he's not going to play 82 games. I'd be hard pressed to see SGA play 82 games for the Thunder. So you're going to see these stars on both of those teams definitely rest and rest quite a bit, in my opinion, because their goal is to get to the playoffs healthy. And I think they're not going to be concerned with winning games on the road. Whereas if you're the Timberwolves, you haven't proved anything. And so I think it's critical for them to get the number one seed, to have as many home games as you can, because they haven't accomplished anything yet. So I think all that combined makes a lot of value on the Wolves at plus 2,200. We'll just take a shot at it, put a little sprinkle on it for the Wolves to be the number one seed in the West, plus 2,200.
Yeah, I completely misread your play. I thought you were going with the Oklahoma City Thunder, who I bet over 60.5 wins on their games total. Now going to put, because I don't have this bet available to me, to qualify for the conference semifinals, to qualify for the conference finals, Minnesota plus 450. Is that a decent pivot?
No, because here's the thing. I don't like that, because I do worry about them in the playoffs. I worry about the Wolves in a playoff series. Again, we're talking about regular season. So this is to be the regular season number one seed in the Western Conference. Now, once we get into the playoffs, I do have some concerns with the Wolves because of their lack of size. I'm not sure how their fast-paced, my projected fast-paced tempo of play is going to work for them in the playoffs. So I do have concerns about the Timberwolves in the Western Conference playoffs. I think there's a lot of behemoths out there that could definitely take them out. So I'm less confident in them making it to the conference finals. But again, I'm talking about regular season. And I think in the regular season, there's going to be more of a priority on the Minnesota Timberwolves to get the number one seed during the regular season, to give themselves as much of an advantage as they can going into the playoffs. So I honestly don't like any props for them in the playoffs, but if you can find anything for regular season in terms of their seeding, I like that the most.
Got it. All right. Thank you for that explanation. All right. Sounds good. I'm going to look for the market as it comes out in here in Pennsylvania. Little frustrating that we don't have all the same plays nationwide. What can you do? Drew, any thoughts on the NBA now before we get to the season?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a very fun season, especially what I'm looking forward to, I will say just the most is these rookies. I know it's summer league, but a lot of these rookies are kind of like showing out and are been really impressive. And I think you can also find good value in the rookie of the year voting, in my personal opinion, because when it comes to rookie of the year, sometimes you have like overwhelming favorites for it. Usually you'll have someone who's like minus something, right? Or plus 100. But the lowest one is Darren Peters and Cameron Boozer at plus 330. And that's because of how stacked it is. So I think you can find some really good value in possibly like sleeper rookie of the years, because Darren Peterson and Boozer plus 330, DeMonsta's plus 380, Wilson's plus 425, Acup's plus 900. And then it drops off to plus 2,500 for Yaxel, like Keaton Wagler, who has a good chance of being rookie of the year, being plus 4,000. Kingston Flemings is plus 10,000, who I think can make a big difference on Hawks. So some really good future value on rookie of the year, in my personal opinion.
Prince, any thoughts on that? I think that's interesting.
Yeah, I'm with him. I defer to him more on the rookie of the year talk than myself. He knows more about all these college players coming into the league than I do. So I'll definitely defer to him on that. But I can't see any problem with that play.
Fantastic. All right. Anything else that we want to wrap up in the world of sports today or this week? Any questions in baseball that I can possibly address?
Oh.
I am going back to the yes run first innings, tweak the model a little bit, looking for a little bit more success post All-Star break. Yeah, what do we got?
Yeah,
Sorry. Go ahead, Drew. Go ahead, Drew. You're good. Go ahead, Drew.
Oh, I actually did have a what is it called? A pick and a future for basketball. I like the most improved player because I think this is really good value. I know it's most common for the most improved player to be like a second or third year player and to make a jump. And I know this player is about to be was a rookie last year and a second year player, but I think I'm gonna make him primary player and he's gonna have his stats boost like crazy. But Dylan Harper, he's the number one favorite, but it's at plus 1,000, which I think is amazing. Sometimes like rookie of the year, most improved players are like plus 400. So I like Dylan Harper plus 1,000 for most improved player.
Hey, I definitely enjoyed watching him in the playoffs this past year. That was a lot of fun. And you had his over on points, rebounds, quite consistently that was cashing. And I definitely appreciated those looks, man.
For sure, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and then one other thought from me, as we're talking about the NBA, these aren't out yet. I don't think we can't get player points averages. I don't think those are out yet. But one player I look at, I know we're a few months away, so you guys might forget about this. We'll probably revisit it as we get closer to the season. But look for Kobe White to have a big year this season. I think without LaMelo Ball and with the Hornets, I think a lot of the offensive responsibility is going to be put on Kobe White, and I think he could be in for a really big season for the Hornets. So any props that you can get for him offensively, I think would be good looks and maybe some sleeper plays to look at Kobe White for points, threes, something along those lines. But any offensive metrics for him, and then also looking at the number one conference, just to wrap it up here. Other teams that are in the mix here that I don't really believe in. The Nuggets are plus 1,500. They're the third favorite. I'm out on the Nuggets. Rockets plus 3,000. No thanks. Lakers plus 3,500. I'm out on them. The Warriors are plus 7,000. Would be intriguing if they got LeBron, but again, they're probably going to be a team that's going to focus more on health. Excuse me, for the playoffs, so I'd be out on them as well. And then you just
I
have
would
a bunch
agree
of
with
bottom
that.
feeders after that.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna say this: we're not winning the championship.
Yeah, either with or without LeBron, it's going to be tough sledding for them. But especially you talk about the number one seed in the regular season. That's going to be their last concern is getting the number one seed. They're just going to want to get into the playoffs healthy. So that's all. Just some additional looks, but that's going to do it for you for NBA.
All right. Question of the day, Drew. Anything off the top of your head? And Prince, I'll go to you next if he doesn't.
Yeah, I actually was watching. It got released. I like watching Mookie Betts podcast. He asked Cam Schlittler a pretty cool question in general. It was about, but of course, I'm not a pitcher, but he was saying if you could like pick, he said current players, but if you want, you can do all time, like 5 pitch repertoire with like certain pitchers pitches. What would it be? In that case, and I thought that was a really cool question. Or if we don't want to necessarily just do baseball, we can do another sport kind of like that. Like someone's like arm strength and stuff like that. I find those things kind of cool when they say like pick make your the best player ever with like these attributes.
Prince, any thoughts there?
I'm not a baseball guy, so I couldn't tell you. Sorry, no thoughts.
We can do a different question though. Yeah, it's fine.
Sorry. All right,
Oh no, it was
what
just a
else you
cool
got?
thing. I see like sometimes like I'll see like because Cam Schlitter said like he was asked like fastball, right? And he was like, oh, Mizorowski easily. I was like, yeah, for sure.
All right, I got one. Sorry, Drew. Yeah, that's. I think
Oh, you're good.
that is an interesting question. I think that's more like a baseball talk question, like an inner baseball circle question. I just don't have enough input on it to really give a solid answer. But here's a question. Maybe you guys will have an answer for this one. More of a generic question. All right, would you rather get paid a lot to be on a bad team or be paid below average, but be on an elite team?
We have actually answered this question before. My
Yeah, in a
answer
different way. It
was
was a different way. Yeah, it wasn't the same question, but I think we covered this before. All right, hold on. Let me find another one. Sorry to interrupt too much. But I know I thought I was like, wait, this sounds familiar. Okay, hold on.
thank you, listeners, for holding on with us. We appreciate it.
I would say I would take a pay
uh,
cut.
to be on the elite team.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So I
Um,
said it depends on how long. If it's just 1 year, give me the most amount of money possible. If I'm going to be there long term, of
yeah.
course I want the accolades.
Okay, here's an interesting question. I think this might speak about you as a person as well. Okay, so if you're a coach, right? Would you rather coach a game wearing a suit or a polo?
Polo. Oh gosh, I love this athleisure wear trend that America's going in. Comfortable, light. No need to wear a full suit anymore. But Prince, I have a feeling you're going to go full suit.
No, Polo, 100%. I'm right with you. Yeah, absolutely. No, you got to be comfortable. You got to be on that sideline. You don't know what the temperature is going to be, right? What if it's hot? You're sitting there in a full suit. Yeah, no thanks. Give me a polo all day. I like it too. I think I like the casual, sporty look. I guess I don't know if it's really sporty, but yeah, I think comfortability is my name of the game. Drew, what about you?
Yeah, I think it's like different for coaches. I know that that phrase, if you look good, you feel good, you play good, but you're a coach. You're not playing. Just be comfortable at the end of the day. So I would wear a polo,
Yeah.
that's how I feel. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're trying too hard. You're wearing a suit, like you're trying too hard. Like,
Mm.
like I get it. Oh, it shows leadership. It shows, I don't know, strength to some people, right? But I don't know. I not to me. Like, I don't really care if my coach is wearing a suit or a polo. Like, I care more about what he's saying and how he treats us as players rather than what he's wearing to me. So it doesn't really make an impact. But I think some coaches are old school in that way. Obviously all the old school coaches always wore suits to games, but times have changed, and I think the more modern and more contemporary to wear the polo. So yeah, cool. All right, we're on agreement with it.
Unless you're Rick Pitino, because I know like the college basketball games are inside, but Rick Pitino, who's like definitely heavy blooded Italian, to where he has to wear a suit or he's disrespecting his ancestors.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, he might be the exception.
Yep. All right, let's get into our recap. Drew, why don't you lead us off?
Yes, definitely. I have Framber Valdez over 79,000 minus 112, and Dylan Harper, most improved player, future plus 1,000.
I'm on an MLB team total over 3.5 parlay featuring the Braves and Rockies at minus 131. Prince, close us out.
Yep. For tonight, guys, we're looking at Liga MX. We're going to take Toluca Pumas. Both teams to score at minus 150. Looking at the Champions League qualification tomorrow. We're taking, Conference League qualification, excuse me. Conference League qualification for Wednesday. Looking at Istanbul Başakşehir taking on Inter Turku. Over 3 goals at minus 115. In the major leagues tonight, give me the Nationals, Rockies, over 12.5 runs at minus 115. And then in NBA future, we're going to sprinkle the Minnesota Timberwolves as the number 1 seed in the Western Conference, and you're going to get that at plus 2,200. That's going to do it, guys. This has been the Tuesday edition of the Only Bet Sports Podcast alongside Drew Delucchi. Stern bets on the Prince of Picks. Have a great afternoon. Let's cash out these tickets. We'll be back again tomorrow live at 11:30 a.m. Eastern at Only Bets Podcast. And until then, we will talk to you all soon. Thanks.